Greetings, today in my Focus RS I am installing the brand new design of higher resistance LED performance indicator units from Autobeam. Alright then, these are the brand new design of LED indicator units from Autobeam. If you're familiar with the existing design, these are quite a bit different looking just visually. The main purpose of these is actually what is going on inside. So these new units are not for replacing the original units. These are going to be made available side by side with the original design. The purpose of these new units then is to provide a solution for vehicles that require a greater resistance than the current design. One example would be, I've seen a couple of RS users who have completely changed their rear housing for a complete aftermarket unit, and these units can quite often have different load levels, which can cause some hyper flashing issues and things like that. So that is where these come in. These will provide a larger load and sort of correct that issue, and there are some Focus ST models that have some issues with the current design as well, so these will address that issue. So essentially then what Autobeam have done here is they have designed a completely new solution from the ground up so that everybody is covered and everyone can have upgraded LED solutions no matter what the use case may be. So that is absolutely awesome of Autobeam to do that. All that's left to do then is to get down to the installation. Alright then, I'm going to do the two rear bulbs first, and that is this one right in here. So we obviously then have to get this housing off. So we start getting this housing off by releasing this little felt door here. So behind that door then you see this little plastic screw thing. So we just get a good grip on that. It is quite tight from factory. You may need to use some pliers if you've never done this before. I've obviously done it before to put the original style of LED bulbs in from Autobeam, so I can get mine out with my hand. But if it is in too tight, if you just use some pliers, get them on either side and twist, it will come loose, and then you can remove it by hand. Of course, be careful, you don't want to drop it down in there because it would be a bit of a nightmare to get out. So just take your time, unscrew and remove. So that's that one behind the little door. And then if we look up here in this sort of gap which isn't covered, it's maybe hard to see, but there is another back screw exactly the same there. So we also need to remove that. So it's a similar, if not identical thing. It could be in very tight from the factory again. You may need to use some pliers. But once it's loose, you can carefully use your hands and remove. This is now loose, but it is held in here. There's like a little push pin here. Get a decent grip on the housing unit and then just pull it and it will release that clip. Before we can then take this away, there is the wiring harness which you do need to remove. You can see then the wiring harness, there's that little plastic tab on top that you just press in, and then once you do that it releases it and you can pull the harness off. Alright then, with our housing fully removed, if I flip it around, you will see our bulb connections here. So the one that we want to get at for the indicator is this one right here at the bottom and towards the rear. So it's very simple, we just get a grip on that and twist it anti-clockwise and then carefully remove. At this point then we remove our bulb, and whether you have an upgraded Autobeam one like this or if you have a stock bulb, the process is obviously going to be exactly the same, which is to push it in, rotate it anti-clockwise, and then it just pops right out. Being this bayonet style of bulb, the installation is the exact reversal. So we just line up these little tabs with the two little prongs on the end of the bulb, and then that lets it pop in, and then we push it clockwise and that locks it into place. So now we just need to very carefully get it back in here. It is obviously a lot chunkier than before, so just be careful. Try not to pull too much on your wires. So then once we're in there, we just rotate it a bit until it pops right in there like this. So you can see there that is dropped in once we've lined up our tabs and our rubber seal is good there. So now we just twist it clockwise until it locks into place. Reinstallation, very simple. We get our wiring harness with that little pushy tab that we pushed at the start, and we line that up, and you hear that little click, it just clicks right into place, so you know it's good. So there is like a little tab here thing where you can slide this wire into and it keeps it tidy. There's a couple holes then on the bodywork where these threaded sections go, and we also line up this prong part with the hole on the bodywork, and then So once everything is lined up, we just give it a good push up here where this prong is, and that clicks into place. And now we're ready just to get those 2 plastic screws back into play, and then that will be this side done. So we literally just screw these on. It's, you know, as simple as that. Get it decently tight with your hand. I like to hold the outside of the light at the same time as well, just in case it should happen to fall off. It's unlikely, but it just gives me a bit of peace of mind. So yeah, we just screw these on, get it decently tight. Final piece of the puzzle then on this side is getting our little door thing back on. You can see that there on one side there's 2 little tabs, one side there's 1 big tab, and these sort of correspond. If you sort of feel around here, there's 2 gaps here, 1 gap here, so we just line that up, do the little ones first, and then that goes right in there. So before I repeat the process on the other side, we can just compare 2 different designs. So this one looks like it's shorter but fatter, but if you line them up, they're actually the exact same length. But then of course it is definitely much thicker, as you can see. The other main difference then is the positioning of the LEDs. Now there are actually the exact same number of LEDs in both units, whereas the old unit has 4 banks of 6 around the side and then 1 bank of 6 on top. This new style doesn't have any on top, it's just got the Autobeam logo, but then it has 6 banks of 6 around the side, and I guess makes more use of the reflectors in the housing. This is the old version of this model. The current version of this is, well, it's pretty much the same, but it has this red aluminium housing. So before I do this side, I'm just going to check that that works. I'm going to fire up the indicators, and hopefully everything should be all good. As you can see, it's working perfectly. This is of course our new one. No discernible difference in brightness, no discernible difference in operation. Excellent. So now I will move on and get this one done. The process will of course be exactly the same, so I will just fly right through this. Alright then, onto the fronts. As you can see, I have the bonnet up, so we need to remove a couple of Torx screws. So we've got one here, and they are both T30. Alright, now we'll get a good grip on the light and then kind of unclip it from in there. Kind of wiggling it free. So now I want to unclip the wiring harness. There is a little tab on the other side. We just kind of raise that up and pull at the same time. Alright then, with the housing out, it is this one that we are going for right here. So flipping around, we have these rubber seals. It's this one right here that we want to pull. So we just pull the tab and that pops right off. And that gives us access to the bulb. Alright, from here then we can reach in. It's pretty tight space, but you just gotta do what you gotta do and grab the bulb housing, twist it anti-clockwise like we did before, and then carefully remove it out. And again, identically to before, being this bayonet style, we push it in anti-clockwise and it twists out. And then we grab our new bulb, line it up with the little tabs, push it in, and then clockwise to lock the bulb back in. So then we simply fish this through very carefully because it is quite a large bulb. So it's a little bit of a tight squeeze getting it in there, but once you do, you see I've just got it like loose here. We want to line up the tabs just like we did before. Alright, so perhaps you can see that now. I've lined up those tabs, and once they're lined up, we just twist it clockwise and lock it into place. So now that we have the bulb installed, the last thing to do before we get our housing back into the car is to put our rubber cap back on. Alright, there we go. Now we're ready to put it back in the car. Okay, first thing to do then is to reconnect our wiring harness. So just grab that. Make sure it's the right way around, of course, and click it in. Once that is nicely seated then, we want to position the light Alright, give it a little bit of push, make sure that it's all lined up with the bodywork. And if it is, then your holes of course should be lined up as well, and then we're ready to get our T30 torque screws back in. Right then, now that we have this side in, I'm just going to do a little test to make sure that it's working. As you can see, working lovely. So side by side, brightness looks excellent, color looks excellent, operation is perfect. So now I'm just going to repeat the exact same process on this side. So there we go, with that we are installation complete. Well, there we go, that is the installation finished on our brand new higher resistance LED indicator bulbs from Autobeam. I think they look absolutely fantastic, both illuminated and even whenever they're not illuminated, they are of course bigger, so they look even more prominent in the housings, especially on the front end. I think it gives an extra aggressive look, which is really cool. Installation was quick and easy, no issues at all. The brightness level is excellent, the color is excellent, just like the original design, which of course, like I was saying earlier, is going to still be available depending on your needs. So it's just really cool of Autobeam to offer this new solution along with the original solution to accommodate for whatever your needs may be. If you decide to go and get your own set of these from the Autobeam website, or if you decide to get the original design or anything else, make sure you use discount code ADAM12 and you will get 12% discount. So I hope you like that, and I hope you like this little video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe for more content to come very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.